Not many people talk about this secret that helped me manifest $10,000 within 5 days of setting my intention, and then later on helping me manifest over $1 million last year alone, $120,000 in a single day, and so many other achievements. And by the end of this video, if you really grasp the concept, shift your awareness, and take the action plan I'm about to give you, you too can magnetize prosperity, abundance, and good things into your life a lot faster and a lot easier than prior to watching this video. So one of the most important things we're going to talk about is setting a great intention here, and maybe here's where you are now and what's going to happen between here, the secret of it. But the reason why nobody really talks about this is because they're so concerned with getting the thing, getting the end result here, and they keep asking themselves, like, when is the $20,000 going to happen? Or where is this money going to actually come from in order for me to have it in my bank account? Or things like, I don't know where this thing is going to actually manifest from, so I don't know how it's going to manifest into my life, and they have some serious concerns and doubts and worries. So they don't talk about this, what I'm about to talk about, because they don't even know that the core reason of why they're not manifesting is this exact thing. Let's get started. You may be here now, and that may not be a bad place. Okay, you might be doing super well in so many areas, and in fact, I'm sure you're doing way better than you think you are right now. You have a lot more good happening in your life than you probably give yourself credit for, and have probably succeeded at a lot more things than you actually think you have up until this point. That's going to be really important for what I'm about to talk about. You may be here now, and again, it's not good or bad, it's just now. It's just an idea, like I'm right here in the present. And for this video, we're going to be talking about setting the intention of manifesting in $20,000. You can interchange the currency to anything 20,000 Rand, 20,000 Canadian dollars, euros, pounds, whatever, put in your local currency. Or you can even use this for any area of life, any intention that you want. Now, the important thing here is I would encourage you to draw this out with me as we go through, but there's a bridge that happens between now and the receiving of your desire. So let's talk about this. A lot of people think that when they visualize what they want, they visualize money, they affirm this money, they're so grateful for it, that it's like magic. It's like a sci-fi movie where it just poofs out of thin air and it's going to land on their table, and as soon as they open their eyes from visualization, they're going to feel happy, they're going to feel joyful, things are going to change, right? But manifestation is not sci-fi, and it's not magic, and it's not putting fairy dust in the air and then having something completely change, or something magical like changing your microwave into a pot of money, like, changing things into other things. We're not talking about that. We're talking about understanding the gap between now and the receiving. So a lot of people think this is just going to poof out of thin air, and no wonder why they're so frustrated that it hasn't happened. But in reality, here's what happens. There is a non-linear path that will be taken in order to bridge themselves between the now and the receiving. But sometimes it's a pretty long path, and then they finally receive it. So you can see this general path that we just took. It's not linear and it's not logical, and no wonder why we couldn't figure out how the $20,000 was going to come in, right? So we want to understand this path, and this path is going to be called the bridge of events, the bridge of happenings, or to borrow Neville Goddard's term, the bridge of incidents. This bridge is what connects you between the now and the receiving of what you desire. Here's how it works. When you actually visualize what you want and you feel it to be in your possession already now, that's the key. As if you already have it, because you do it at an energetic level, you start to initiate the actual receiving of this. And it sets in motion the events, circumstances, and possible movement of opportunities to you as you approach it. So what happens is the universe will start to have random coincidences happen. We like to call them synchronicities here in my teachings and what we talk about. but random coincidences that happen that seem to be out of the norm, not connected to anything, but they're happening. So if I wanted to manifest $20,000, I just saw an ad online that provided me a business opportunity that I feel really passionate about and excited for. Okay? That doesn't mean I have to buy the thing. It just means, wow, that got my thought moving in the right direction. And then later that night, I'm feeling peaceful. So that's a manifestation on my path, right? I started to feel a level of relief and peace I have not felt financially in quite a bit of time. And then on this bridge, a friend reaches out the next day that they have a job that they're needing help with. That's like a little thing that you might earn a little bit of money from, maybe $200, who knows, but somebody reach out to you out of the blue. And then also something else happened, like if you have a business, a random client reached out who remembered you in order to get to the $20,000. Maybe they became a client, but they haven't become a client yet. They're just communicating. So there's these serendipitous things that are happening. And then you're in the grocery store and whoom, somebody slammed their car into yours on accident. It wasn't purposeful. They were going really fast around the corner. They didn't see you and your carts collided. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Everyone's okay. It's just carts colliding. Nothing happened there. But as soon as the carts collided, you walked away. And for some reason, you had a brilliant thought on how to serve people in a better way in your job or business. Random thought came out of nowhere. As soon as that thing happened, you were walking down the aisle, ready to leave the store, and you got this idea out of nowhere. Like those ideas that come to you out of nowhere when you're taking a shower or where you're driving somewhere. You're like, wow, I just got an amazing idea, right? So then an idea comes, right? And these constant serendipitous things happen on the path here that start to solidify the ultimate path in you getting where you want to go. And what happens is this dotted line was invisible. Now you've lived the path. All these serendipitous things happening that you initiated but did not control. The universe did all of the work for you to get there and ultimately brought you to your final intention in receiving it. And let's make sure this is connected like you actually received it. So, within this place, you have an amazing amount of faith and belief that the bridge between now and the receiving of your desire can happen. Now, here's where my personal experience came into play. The first time I ever heard about this bridge, I was the one that constantly doubted and worried all the time. In fact, prior to any of the teachings and coaching and everything I've done, I was an engineer before, aeronautical engineer. So when you're an engineer, you need to make sure everything's dialed in. You need to think about everything prior to an airplane flying, prior to a car getting on the road. You need to learn everything. You need to make sure everything is perfectly known ahead of time. So when it came to manifestation, I was attacking as if I was an engineer and I had to know all the variables ahead of time. I didn't know any of them because the universe is taking care of them. So constantly being concerned, overthinking, and overanalyzing everything. I heard about this bridge and it was like an epiphany that happened. I said, that's it. That's what's happening here. The universe is the engineer in this case. I'm not. The universe is going to engineer everything between now and the receiving, between A and Z. It's going to do all of it for me. Not that I don't have to take action, because I do, and I want to emphasize that, and we're going to talk about what action I took to receive the $10,000. And many times I received $20,000. We're just doing a specific example that had come up the first time I learned about this bridge. It was $10,000. What happened as I got into that epiphany, I realized, let me take my hands off the wheel, let the universe drive, because it knows how, I don't, and let's see how this goes. Here's what I did. Here's part of your action plan. Number one, I set the intention. I wrote down, I wanted, in this case, we're talking about $20,000, but my personal example, the first time, was $10,000. I wrote down I just received $10,000, pay in full. The second thing I did was I really felt it to my core that I saw the $10,000 in my checking account increase by that $10,000. Okay, so in the bank account, I saw it and it just felt real. It felt so real, like it was already in my possession. Number 3, as I started to see it and feel it, I put music on to stimulate more emotion. I like to use soundtracks from my favorite movies, and I felt it, put the headphones on, and I really felt the invigoration of the excitement of this process working for me. I felt it so deeply that it felt like everything in every cell of my being felt it. I was expecting it to land in my lap tomorrow. And then the crucial part was I let it go completely. I never thought about it again for the next 5 days. I didn't think about it. I knew it was already done and I was going to let the universe engineer it. I don't want to be the engineer in this case. I want the universe to engineer it for me. That I let it go completely. I didn't think about it at all ever again. The final step that we're going to put here was I did take some action. And the action that I took was service in my business. Now, if you don't have a business, just serve in your job. What do I mean by service? Trying to find ideas and thoughts on how to better serve my clients, my prospective clients, and everybody in my circle. So I went out of my way to make the program that I had better. That day I just made better quality stuff. I upgraded a couple of things that I was doing in the business. I systemized some things that would help the clients better. I just really gave everything I had that day to helping more people. And again, if you have a job, the same thing. How can I help my coworkers have a better day today? How could I have my boss have a better day today? How could I have my company that I work for thrive so much more that they can't wait to provide me a bonus, even if that's never happened before? How could I be the top employee on this team in this company? Like, what would that look like if that happened? So that's all that was on my mind. Not how to generate $10,000 or $20,000, but how do I serve more? Over the next 5 days, some very serendipitous things happened. I had somebody reach out to me on Facebook. I used to do a lot of marketing on Facebook early on. I had somebody reach out on Facebook that I had messaged 2.5 to 3 years prior. And that person remembered me, hasn't seen me ever again. I never stayed in touch. I never followed up. But they said, "Hey, Scott, I remember you reached out to me 2.5, 3 years ago," whatever the exact timeline was. "And I would love to get on a call with you. How much is it to get started? I'm ready right now." People say that's coincidence. People say that's just somebody that reached out, right? But what happened is I got on that call. The person signed up that exact day. And it was for exactly the $10,000 that I had written down 5 days prior. This was so stunning to me that I wanted to make sure it wasn't a coincidence. So I did it again. I wrote down I just now received $10,000, pay in full. And I didn't actually need to get on a call for 30, 40, 50, an hour with a person. They got on a call with me for 15 minutes and they were ready to join in. I set this intention. It was about 7 days later that some things unfolded. I got in touch. I was doing my marketing. So again, I was taking action. I was doing things in the business to open up channels to receive more supply. I felt it so entirely in every cell of my being that it felt so true to me, it felt such in my possession, that I had somebody that I had reached out to, not a long time ago like that person, but I had reached out to recently, say yes to a call. They say, Scott, I don't know anything about you. I just really love your energy. I'm in. How do we get started? I'm ready to go. I have a credit card. Person paid in full, $10,000. Is it really that coincidence that all the time up until that point, by the way, I had never received a pay in full $10,000 client? Ever. Up until that point, I had visualized a lot. I had some good things going. I went from 0 to 10,000 a month in 58 days. I got to 20,000 a month and then 30,000 a month. Like, yeah, I had some really good achievements, but it took a long time to get there. This happened in 5 days, the first one. It never happened for 12 months prior. And then I did it again, and it happened again. So would you really call that coincidence, or would you call that possibly we're onto something? I then proceeded to give this understanding to the 2,000 clients I've worked with up until this point about the bridge and bridging between now and then. Within the first time I provided this to my community and my following and the clients I was working with at the time, we put out a program, brand new. This was in 2020, so about 4 years ago to the date of this video. And we had, within the first 2 months of putting this understanding out about the bridge, we had 50 financial testimonials come in, and over half of them were so surprised and stunned. They've never, ever had a win like that where they wrote it down and it happened within 30 to 60 day mark. It wasn't always 5 days or anything like that. Want to be transparent with you to make sure you know it's not always within 5 days that this stuff happens. But those individuals were so stunned. It was all unexpected money and the exact amounts they wrote down. Transparently, to also let you know, there were a fair share of them that did not receive their exact intention. And when we circled back to them, they said, I couldn't really figure out how to feel it. So no wonder why they never received it. Because remember my cases here, the feeling and the music was like so in my body. Every cell in my body expected, it just felt like this is done. This is it. And I can let it go and have the universe engineer the how for me. If I've been able to do this, and many times later, I'm not going to go through every example for me, but I already shared a couple of things, and you can learn more about my story in the channel and hear all those different miracles and serendipitous things that have occurred in my life. But then you have also so many clients. Those were just the 50 we started with this, but we've worked with over 2,000. And so I have so many testimonials on our website that we're onto something here with this bridge. The idea again is let this complete path be taken care of from the universe. Let the universe engineer the entire thing. Let it do it. It's so much easier. While you set it, feel it to be true, use music as an instrument. I like to use instrumental music, by the way, non-lyrical. Because if you're hearing lyrics, you're thinking about the lyrics usually. I want you to be thinking about your intention. So something that's musical, non-lyrical. Understand the bridge. Take action to increase people. Serve your business better. Do better marketing. Better service your clients. Better everything. Let the universe take care of the middle ground. Does this work if you don't have a job or you don't have a business? Yes. We've also had clients do that as well. Just make sure you do take action though. Don't sit on your couch and not take action. Because action is just part of your mission in the world, number one. Number two, it's part of your fulfillment, helping people in this world or doing whatever you love and what you're passionate about. And number three, action opens up channels to receive the supply. So think about channels as like, I'm opening up the path more for the universe to engineer things. If you have 20 channels open on how you can receive the supply, the engineering of this becomes a lot easier to believe in. So overall, as you have that happen, things will start to unfold in their own time, in their own way, and you can have your hands off besides taking action to fulfill your space and serve the world. Listen to this video or one of my other recent drawing videos over and over. Like I'm talking about every day. That's how I got the knowledge of this bridge and stayed in awareness. That's the crucial part. Don't binge watch 30 videos or 2,000 videos over years. I've done that before and it doesn't help. Take an idea and watch it over and over and over and over until you live it. Until you wake up tomorrow and you're already aware of the bridge of incidents, bridge of happenings, the bridge that you don't even overthink. If you watch this video and then you let it go and you never watch this video again and you forget about this, it's not going to do anything for you because you have to become the bridge. You have to live it. It's a difference between watching a video on how to ride a bicycle and actually getting on a bicycle and practicing. It's very different. Or getting in a car and driving is very different than watching a video on how to drive a car, right? Same thing. You need to practice the bridge. Practice having the awareness of this bridge. Practice living from a place that this is your way of thinking. This is who I am. I let the universe engineer it for me. Super important. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have, we're putting out drawing videos all the time to make law of attraction manifestation a lot more practical for you. So I'd love to see you on here and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're more of like a systems person and you would like to get more hands-on custom help, we do have some coaching, one-on-one mentorship, as well as a small level program as well. Links are all in the description below. You don't need them. This is more than enough to move you forward. But if you're somebody that does like more customized help, accountability, and support, that's all available for you as well. Take this idea of the bridge, run with it, live from that place, set it, feel it, stimulate it, let the bridge and the engineering unfold, take action to serve the world and fulfill your place. This is Haug signing off here. I look forward to seeing you over in the next video or in this same video as you repeat this video on a daily basis.